First of all, it's dangerous. You know, Real really has an urgent need for a new midfielder. The team feels like we need a midfielder, but Perez has poured cold water on such claims and has officially rejected Xavi's request for fairness. The team's lineup is good enough as it is. Mr. Xavi, if you want to manage with this team, fine. If not, no hard feelings, you can go your own way. Cope and Mario Cortegana have reported that Xavi asked the Real management to sign a midfielder in January. Perez believes that the current squad is good enough and there's no need to sign any players during the transfer window. The Real management thinks that even in case of an emergency, they can turn to the academy and make use of their own valuable resources. Overall, Real has an unwritten rule that's been around for quite some time, basically since the Mourinho era, that there are no good players available in January. And even if there are, their prices are extremely high. As mentioned, not buying in January doesn't mean it will affect the next window, because Real has already started planning for the summer of 2026. Adding one or more central defenders depending on their situation, like whether Rudiger stays or not. So after some players leave, the main priority for Real in the summer will be defense. And as we mentioned, there's a very high chance they'll bring back Nico Paz for 9 million as a midfielder. They want to solve the midfield problem this way, meaning there's no news of astronomical or 100 million euro signings. The last expensive signing they made for their midfield was, who was it for Real Madrid? It was Jude Bellingham. Who was there before Jude Bellingham? It was Tchouaméni. Camavinga's price was relatively high too. Fede Valverde basically came for free. So these are the players that Perez has used to build the midfield, and he doesn't want to do what? He doesn't want to burden the club with heavy expenses for the midfield, especially at the request of a head coach whose position is still uncertain, whether he can even keep his job in the second half of the season or not. Let me just say, this year Real is really moving forward in a very up and down way, guys. In this second half of the season, you could say either we'll witness a miracle and the team will completely turn things around, which honestly, calling it a miracle might be a stretch. There are a ton of stars in the team, so you could say if they pull themselves together, or else we'll see another trophyless season for Real Madrid. I can promise you there aren't really more than these two scenarios, and if Xavi can manage to get the same kind of results he did in the first half of the season and maybe win a cup or two in the second half, like the Copa del Rey or La Liga, Barca have really held on tight and climbed to the top of the table. Or if he can win the Super Cup. If he can finish the season like that, I'd say what Xavi is doing is a huge achievement in itself, but with what we're seeing from the management, there's absolutely no support being given. Definitely, and I'm sure that at the end of the season, depending on whether Xavi wins 1 or 2 trophies, Perez will absolutely sack Xavi and bring in a new head coach who can work with these stars and get along with them.